welcome to another episode of Voices of IWA. I am your host, Iya Omolewa, and Voices of IWA is a podcast that is dedicated to amplifying the voices of women who live throughout the diaspora who practice the African traditions. We have been talking this whole entire season about the role of women in African tradition. We have talked about mother. We have talked about ourselves as creators. We have talked about Iyanifa, several different roles. We have talked to our daughters. And today we are going to be talking to our elders. I am sitting across the room from two women that I find extraordinarily beautiful, both inside and out, who are truly my elders in this tradition. So I would love for you all to introduce yourselves. And on Voices of IWA, we introduce ourselves, not just tell the people who you are, but also tell them how you began in the African traditions. A little bit of your narrative and stories.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
My name is Iya Omolewa, and I'm a priestess of Obatala. And I came to Ifa all my life. As an 8-year-old, I got interested in women and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
My father brought home this Bible, and they had this book of wisdom, and she said she was with God when he created the heavens and earth. And my question is, why hadn't I ever heard this story before? So I think my journey started with that, trying to figure out what women's role, what the woman's role is in spirituality.
Okay.
And then I heard about Oduifa,
Mm-hmm.
with 256 more books of sacred literature, that not just the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. Now I got some African books that I can go through, and let's see what is said about the role of women.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's I think I answered the question.
Yes. Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
First, I say, coming from old school, I give honor to God, giving honor to Olodumare, giving honor to my destiny, my Ori, giving honor to my Egungun. Out of all of my dreams, I never thought I'd be here at this point in my life, and I thank you for having me. My name is Iyanifa Awodola. It's very long. Awodola, Oriyomi, but everybody knows me as Mama Yeye.
Yes.
I came into this tradition because I was just a wild child. I was always in places where I had no business being, but I always danced. And when I went to dance class one day, we went in Philadelphia. I'm a Philly girl, West Philly to be exact. I went to a dance class, and we were in the House of Love, believe it or not, Ile-Ife. It was by Arthur Hall. That was the key guy, along with, during that same time, we had a lot of people coming in and out of Africa.
Yes.
But that was the main house where you would come and learn dance. They are Ghanaian based at that time. And I didn't know it at the time. I sat next to my godmother. I didn't know she was going to be my godmother. But the people from Guinea had come. And they came with different energy, different rhythms. We were learning Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilian, Afro everything. But these people were different. And all of a sudden, someone got possessed.
Okay.
I freaked out. Now, all of my wildness didn't have no room for that.
Right.
So the lady that was sitting next to me, I said, "What's going on? What is this? Oh my God, is that going to happen to me?" I did all of that. And it makes me laugh because when people come to me like that, I have to take a breath just like my godmother did. And yeah, Betty, may you live long.
I said.
And she said, "No, baby, that's not going to happen to you." And she began to explain to me what was happening. And one of the Orisha, Loa, I'm not sure of what that person's energy was at the time, had possessed. That was my beginning. And she gave me my first reading. She's Omo Shango, still living in Philly. And I pretty much was groomed under her for many, many years. Now, not only did she teach me about Orisha, we also learned spirituality, dealing with the ancestors, working at the table, spiritual work, all of that. Plucking chickens and all that good stuff. It was fun to me. But that's how I got started. It was through dance.
Yeah.
The dance, the music, the culture, the theater. Yeah.
We have that in common because that was the draw for me to the tradition, was dancing, and the music, right? Just opened up my soul really to the tradition and to the Orisha. So if we live long enough, right, then we have the distinguished pleasure of someone one day calling us an elder. And you both have, deservingly so, right, earned that title. In Egbe Obatala, we are all Egbe Obatala members, and you both are Iya Agba, right, within our society. And just within the community altogether, right? Everyone recognizes you. I believe that everyone recognizes you both for your eldership.
Sure.
What do you all feel is the role of the elder, the role of Iya Agba? What do you all feel like is that role in our African traditions?
I think the role is to teach and to guide the younger people.
Yeah.
And I have a concern about in-person versus technology. When I talk to someone personally, like we are now, I feel a certain energy, a spirituality, a connection. And, Black people say, do you feel me? But when I'm on high tech, I can see the people, I can hear them, but I don't get that same energy.
The connection.
So I think as an elder, I try as often as possible to come together physically with the youth to help guide them, because they're moving so fast in this life for me, they deal with the past, the history, and the present. How does Ifa help them in the present? But as an elder, I want to look at the future. What's the prophecies about African American people, about women in African American spirituality? So that's my take on being an elder.
Yes.
For me, being an elder is sometimes a surprise when you say that word to me, because I always feel like I'm about 25 years old.
I said,
it doesn't hit me until some mornings I go, oh, yeah. So I have become an elder through a couple of hard knocks. Become an elder by learning immediately what I am and what I am not. I was looking through, just to be very real, I was looking at Instagram the other night. Couldn't go to sleep. So here I go, I'm scrolling. And the young man was talking about how the young people don't relate to God or don't remember Martin Luther King. They didn't live through that era. They don't know about marching on Selma and the bus and all of that. They don't relate to that. So I says, well, how am I going to relate to them? By living.
Right.
When I came into this tradition and I moved to Atlanta, I was pretty much given all of these God children. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. All I know is I was supposed to take care of them. Now at this point in my life, this is my time. So if you come into my area, if you come into my sphere, if you come into my bubble, I want to give you honesty as an elder. I don't want you to think that I am the tell-all, know-all. I am not. I have failed. I have achieved. I have lived. Sometimes I have died. I have felt heartache. I have felt many different things. So when you come into my space, I want to be as honest with you as possible. I'm not giving you no pipe dreams. And I will remind you that you are human. And you and I both can work this out together. but you must do the work.
That's
People
right.
say, what are you talking about? You must do the work. To even be considered an elder, we have gone through so much. We still have, even now today, some things we're still working out. Doing the work is going from inside of yourself and really looking at yourself, the good, the bad, the uglies, and knowing that you are not perfect. Just because somebody calls you an elder doesn't mean that you've arrived. It's just like anything else. If somebody gives you a title, I'm Iyanifa now. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing until you're actually living and taking those steps. So it's a step of elevation. It's a step of growth. It's a step of achievement, but nothing that everybody goes like this about. No. Because sometimes people don't see me as an elder in this community. They really don't. You do.
I'm like, who that is? But okay.
Because there's new people coming in that don't see me. I'm not at the bimbays all the time, or I'm not at this one's function or that one's function. You hear what I mean?
Okay, yes.
So when they see me, they just look at me like. The other thing about being an elder is, again, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Your energy, your light, your wisdom is going to shine. Whether you sit in the corner in the back or you're standing in the front, doing the work that you're being asked to do. So I am honored to be called an elder, but it's a work in progress. Because you best to believe if you come across the right elders like Mama and me, Mama gonna pet you. She gonna guide you. She gonna teach you. But don't be sure that I won't slap the hell out of you if I need to.
Yeah. No, and that's real. We actually have in leadership circle, when we know that if someone is needed, if we need to tell someone something.
Yeah.
Right. We know that we know who our elders are. And we're like, so Mama Yeye has this way of telling you that you done messed up and I love you all at the same time.
Yes.
I was like, it happens very effortlessly, right?
Yes.
You don't walk away bruised and scarred, but you're very clear that you need to do something different.
We got to do that. And we've got to continue to do that. Because just as Iya and I are in our moment of moving on, we want you to learn that as well. And sometimes you definitely got to work on you in order to do that, because we don't want to. What we've learned not to be is reactionary. And a lot of times in the past, the elders that we were brought up, I heard somebody today say in dance class, "My teacher used to beat me," and I was like, "No, my teachers didn't." Yeah. But now you can't beat this generation.
Oh, no.
Okay? That's not gonna work.
So what do? You learn how to talk to them in a certain way and get them to understand this is how you do it. But you also have a responsibility. Let's meet it in the middle and let's see how we go from there. So we want you to learn. We want you to learn those skills, but they're going to change every time though. Let's think about it. How you approach people, how you deal with people, it changes constantly. So what do you have to? You have to adapt.
Yeah.
You got to adapt.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier about like the new people that come in. So I hadn't even thought about that until you said that. I was like, who don't know that Mama Yeye is elder? Like, but like, do you feel honored in the role of eldership? Like, how has in community with us? Like, do you feel like that role of Iya Agba or that role of elder, does it hold the same weight that it used to, and has that importance? Because you talked about like it being a guide, right? And you're there to assist us. That means like when we are in trouble and we need some understanding of which way to go. I've heard some of my peers say, I have heard this, like, there are no real elders in our community, and I'm like, where are you?
You know
right?
why?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I actually don't.
Why?
Okay, so let's get an answer to this question, because I've heard that too. Yeah.
Have you?
Yes. Where are the elders? We moved back because you came to us. Your whole attitude towards us is, oh, I already know that. Or I already have this. Or I already got that. What do I need you for? Who are you? I've already got more than you do.
I Googled it.
Oh, I Googled it.
Wow.
Oh, I got it off of Facebook. Oh, I can do that myself. What do I need you for? That's why. And so the elder's like, oh, yeah, can confirm this. There are a lot more elders that are sitting in the back. We're here, but if you don't ask us, if you don't inquire, if you don't check in, yeah, that's right. I'm just going to stay in my lane, drink water and mind my business. And that's why you don't see us. If you want us, what the man say in the movie? If you build it, they will come. If you asked us, we'll be there. Now, the first part of your question was, do we feel it? Sure we do. We feel it from people like yourself, Ekpe Obatala, Oshelogbe, in most places that we go to who are practicing Isheshe. Yeah, sure. No problem. But sometimes, like I said, you have this other generation that nobody's really paying attention to that's coming in. They don't know who we are. And not that they really have to. We're not here to flex. We're not here to, yes, I'm an elder. Because just as sure as there are good elders, there are bad. Okay? Some people have had some negative experiences with quote unquote elders. So it's important that, again, that we put everything in its proper place and give respect to where it's due. Ashe. But we're here.
And that's one reason that I open my door for one-on-one classes. Because people get lost. They go to a class, miss the second one. When they come back, they're behind and they never seem to catch up. But as an elder, let's do one-on-one, whatever questions you have on your journey. What path you're trying to decide you should take on your journey. I don't do readings. I don't do that kind of spiritual work, but is as a teacher, former teacher,
and an amazing teacher at that.
Amazing teacher.
Thank you. But I feel like that's my way of helping the youth, of bringing the youth in, and I've always felt respected in that sense because part of eldership is to keep balance in the community.
I said,
and the AJ, that's and the Iyami, that's special to keep balance in the community. And sometimes you have to, like you say, tap them with love and let new people know this is the way it goes because they come in and think they know what this is when they really don't.
They really don't. And we learn in this generation. They learn by observation. They don't learn by doing. You and I came up in this tradition, working, doing it. Not saying, okay, here's my money. I'll be back. I gotta go make a run. When I get back, is that going to be done? Is everything going to be okay? And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What people don't understand again is that process of learning starts. Let's say we do a divination for you. The ebo is prescribed. The moment you are given that letter and you're given the items, that's the work right there.
Right.
You start going to get your own items. I'm actually hearing people talking about, oh, I'm going to go over here and I just pay them and they do the ebo for me. They make the ID moves for me. What? And I go, really? Yeah.
And we don't do that over here.
We don't do that over here.
No, and I mentioned it when Baba Kayode Abombon came the first time and he was staying at my house. And he was doing readings for people, and he wanted me to take him to get their ebo item. And we did it a few times, but then I suggested to him, that's their sacrifice. That's their ritual. They need to go get their own. Because in Africa, I think that the materials are usually nearby already, but over here, you're right, that's part of their work to go get their own ebo. So we finally pulled that
Pull that together.
I'm pull that together because I couldn't be going for everybody because he was doing like 8-10 people a day, and I couldn't do that kind. But like you say, driving, going places. Mm-hmm. My sister and I were laughing. We ran across some old flyers because we didn't have text and that kind of stuff to send out invitations. Mm-hmm. You typed it up, and at the bottom, get on 285. Go down to exit so-and-so and turn by the church's chicken. Mm-hmm. But people found the place that they were going. But we had to take those flyers to Whole Foods, to the beauty supplies, and give them out to people. So yes, things have changed, and the type of work that we're doing that is different.
It's different now.
It's different, but it's still the same. Yes. Yeah, right. Like in terms of so Mama Yeye was talking about people learning through observation. I know something that our brother Baba Shola always says is like this is not a spectator sport. Exactly. Like you can't watch
and think you got
it. And that's just not how it works, right? Like this is one of those things where you do have to touch it, feel it, be in it. Like today I was teaching some young girls in Rites of Passage program. And I was saying that, that you have to immerse yourself, right? Like this is one of those things where you really, you can't dabble. This is not a dabble kind of thing, right? If you want to see results, like you said, like the work of it, you have to do your work, the work. The work is your work, right? And your work is fully immersing yourself in building a relationship with the Orisha. And I think that is the part, because we feel like you said, I paid for this, like it's a service. So when people say, I've always been, I remember the first time that I called to get a consultation with, it wasn't the first time. It was the first time that I talked to this person, but I was calling Baba Agbongbong to get a reading because he was in town, and one of my godbrothers answered the phone. He just didn't know who I was. And I said, oh, it's Omishegun. And he was like, oh, Baba, one of your clients are calling. And I said, hey, I'm not his client.
Hello.
I am not his client because I am not a client in this culture, right? I was like, this is not something that I don't pay for a service and get my spiritual work done. I was like, I serve the Orisha. And this is my Oluwo. Yes. Big difference than being a client, right? Because and some of us do take that standpoint where it's just like, I'm coming and I'm paying for a service, and now you owe me something. You see? Right? You owe me something, and that's very different.
Yeah. It's very different.
Yeah.
What can we do as community to show more honor to our elders? What makes you feel honored? And how can we do more of that within our tradition as a whole to better honor our elders?
Iwa Pwale, the name of this podcast, character. That's one of the things I focus on with my students, that we come to earth. The only thing you get to take back to heaven is your character. And Olodumare judges your character. And this determines your place in Orun, as well as a reincarnation, your place when we come back. All these other things are important, but your character is the main thing that you're here to work on. And people have so many different perspectives why they're here. They want to get money, they want to get they want things, but you need to work on your character. And when I see people in the community who are conscious of honesty, courage, strength, respect, empathy, sympathy, all of those things, then that makes me feel respected.
Yes.
Like that's making any sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense, because that means that what we have been sharing with you, whether verbally or whether by just observing our character, you know that this journey is not about getting a title, getting beads, and getting vessels. You're not. You're the best chanter in the community. It has nothing to do that. if you take all of that away, stand butt naked in front of Olodumare, the first thing she said was what? Iwa Pole. And understanding what that means. There's actually several documents, and I keep them to keep me in touch with this very same topic. It actually tells you the role of what a godmother is, a godfather is, a student. When you become a student of Ifa, it breaks down what your responsibilities are. And I says, I wonder if this has ever been circulated throughout.
Please.
I will definitely share it.
I would love to see that.
Because people don't understand that this walk, our relationship as being an Iya and being elders has to do with building our relationships. What's the first relationship you have when you come to planet Earth?
Your mother.
Your mother and your father.
Yeah.
And some of us get up in the morning and don't even acknowledge their mothers and their fathers because they got an attitude or they piss them off. You know, I hear that more than I hear anything else. So let's go back to the point. The relationship that you have with your parents, the relationship you have with Olodumare, the relationship that you have with your family. When you start operating in your rightful place, in your rightful journey according to your destiny, those things when I talked about earlier about work, it'll start to activate because you want to have a good relationship that one day when you get in this position or in your position or any position that you foresee in your destiny, you will have that support. One thing I also learned that the Orishas don't do, they encourage you, but they don't do it for you. You can give them all the cola nut, all the gin, all the palm oil in the world.
All the honey in the world to make Oshun.
Okay. But they won't do it for you. They'll support you. So,
exactly. There's an old dude that says those with character who are honest and truthful, those are the ones that the Orisha, the divinities will support. No matter how much you give them, if you got bad character, you're not going to get very much.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we feel? I agree with Yeye 100%. When you show us by doing what you were called to do, not chasing the bag and not chasing the booty, chasing good character.
I keep it real.
Okay, I gotta keep it real. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry. And aiming for what you were called to do on this earth. Because the other thing that people don't talk about a lot is, or they forget about this little antidote that they gave us to create the good condition. If you're creating the good condition, everybody has their place, including the elders. But again, I'll go back to the original thought. If you asked us, we'll be there. You know, I don't think that there's any kind of thing that would have to be done. But one thing I can suggest is making an active list of our elders. Who are they? Maybe they don't think we're here because they don't know who the hell they are. So making an active list of who those elders are. We only know elders when they die. And here come everybody all out the woodwork. Oh yeah. No. Start now.
So that gives me a thought. Like, what constitutes, what makes eldership? How do we define the moment that you go? I was with one of my elders in Olokun, and she's scared, y'all. She scared me because I was going because we were doing the first Olokun festival in St. Croix. And she has been initiated to Olokun for, the 30-something years. And I was like, there's no way I can do this festival here without her permission and without her involvement. So I went to talk to her about it. And she looks at me and she says, what gives you the right to do this festival? So, I get all scared. I mean, like, she's not in agreement. Oh, no. Right. And I was like, and I'm talking, and she said, no. What truly gives you the right to do this festival? And I'm like, I'm searching for the right answer. And I was like, tears well up in my eyes, right? Because I'm like, well, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not getting the right answer, and Iya is not in agreement, and through this entire conversation, one of the things that really came out of that was, like you said, what we're called to do, right? And knowing what we're called to do, and having the humility, right? She said she knew that I was the right person because I was actually doing this, right? She was like, oh, I knew. I just wanted to make sure that you knew, right? Because she was like, the fact that you were coming to ask for permission and to ask me to be involved, she was like, told something about your character and who you were, who you are. And what she said to me, she said, you are preparing for eldership and I am preparing for ancestry. And I again, more tears. And I was just like, this is just too much.
I felt that myself right there.
This is too much, And it left such an impression on me about readiness, right? Readiness. Because she was like, right now you're a worker. She was like, you're hungry for something and you're clear that there's something you're supposed to do. So you've moved from this place. You're now in this space where you're leading and you're working, right? She was like, and then from that space you graduate to eldership, and then from that space you graduate to ancestry. And so I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts about how you get from that worker space she was talking about into, because you haven't said this, but you helped lead the oldest Ile in Atlanta.
Yeah.
30
and the second
years.
oldest right there.
30 years that you've been doing this.
Yeah. And that is interesting that because we were the first Ile in Atlanta in the 90s, there were very few elders. And somebody from Oyotunja told me, you over 50, you're an elder now. And I said, oh, really?
I'm like,
oh, really? So at that point, it was whatever we learned, because there was no internet. So there were books, and we shared information as an elder and set up workshops and groups where we could sit down in person and get that in and share information. And I think that was part of my role as an elder, and we were the two oldest temples in Atlanta, but now I think eldership looks different, and is different. And some people think the more lekes they wear and that kind of thing may be. I went there, and
I disagree. Right,
that makes them an elder, but not necessarily. It's what you, as a priest, our job is to give to the community, to help the community flourish. Everybody in the community can't do the same thing. We got to have different paths. Your Ori will lead you down different paths, but together we make a strong community. And the elders' job is help guide people in those areas.
We have to continue to be there to guide. So in being, that touched me, because now I'm preparing for that transition, something that Black people don't like to talk about, but we need to start talking about it. Yeah, who's going to take over?
Right.
No day is promised to us.
Exactly.
Who's going to have that spirit, that worker energy, that fighter energy, that hunger to continue this tradition? Because we go to our ancestors, we pray, we give offerings and everything. But do we even know them? So do we even know our elders? All these questions are starting to come up in my mind right now. So
and that's what I want this podcast to
be about, right?
To strengthen our questions.
So I think it's all, I agree, we have to guide. We're here to guide. But we need to learn more about each other.
Yes.
So
that was a message from Awodola.
Remember? You need to learn more about each other. And it might not catch me at a B&B.
Yes.
Because elders, we don't go to everybody's house.
Sure don't.
Okay, we don't go to everybody's function.
Yeah.
Because there's another thing that our African brothers and sisters have taught us is diplomacy. There's a reason for diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why when someone asks you a question, you go,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just go like this. Like my daddy said, you be the dog, the Puerto Rican dog doing your head in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You learn
bobbing
to
head.
close your mouth.
Yeah.
Eldership comes with having wisdom and knowing when to close your mouth.
Ashe.
Eldership is always
Ashe.
not about always having to be heard. And I think eldership is also not always having to be seen. But we there. Just
Ashe.
like the ancient mothers. Iyami,
Mm-hmm.
they're always there and they're always watching.
Yes.
You don't hear from them. Only when you have to ask, right?
Yeah, it's something so I might show this picture if I'll ask if it's allowed, but in one of our sessions when we were being installed in Egbe Batala leaders, you know, we had to prostrate before our elders and you all prayed over us. And what you just said about seeing me, when I did that and you were praying over me, the things that you were saying, I had never even knew that you looked at me like that. I didn't know that you knew any of those things about me. None of them. I mean, really, because there were tears in my eyes. I was like, when did Mama Yeye know any of this stuff? Because I don't think we necessarily had a conversation about it. But what it told me in that moment is that's who your elders are. Your elders are always there and they watching, even if you don't know that they're watching.
Yes.
Right? And the blessing that you gave me in that moment let me know how seriously you took your position of elder, because you told me who I was. Right. And we had never had a conversation about that, which meant that you were doing your job in eldership by watching and seeing and knowing who is who.
Sure. Lighting progress to my Ori, lighting progress to Olodumare. People think that the Orisha, they only come when you're foaming at the mouth and your eyes are falling back and the music is going. The Orishas come at any time they want. And sometimes when they talk, they use us. We are their vessels. We don't even know. So whatever, I can say to you honestly, I don't remember that moment. I remember the action.
I got a picture.
You got a picture?
I do.
But most of that probably was Iya Agba.
I said.
So possession is not always
right.
Yes.
Right.
I said.
And that Amonimuye Ifa Ojire, the one who casts spells and the visions is Ifa. That when the Ifa would cast that spell for the diviner, and if the person getting the reading is in tune, they also can see the vision that's coming. So Amoni Muye Ifa Ojire, that's a song that we sing.
This woman is walking information, man. I mean,
she is.
Oh my God. It's just amazing. So here we go again. So we're going to work together. We come to that, right? We're going to make a better effort in getting to know each other. That might not be that you come over my house or whatever like that, but making a format or a forum where we can all get together and know each other. And in that forum, understanding that there are elders and we're here for you. And those that are coming fast behind us need that same type of respect. And those coming behind them are the children need that type of respect. And I think that it will be that cycle that we always talk about. You know, if you think about the infinity sign or the number 8 or about
yes.
It's a constant thing like that. You know, I thank God for that. And I want to say this before I forget. Thank you. Because Egbe Batala said that to me. And I was like, what? Well, they already have Iya Omolewa. My mind. I'm 25 years old, girl. I ain't, but I am that.
Yes.
And I thank you for recognizing that in me.
That's it.
I thank you for allowing me to be that in this community,
That's it.
whether y'all want me or not.
We want you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Were
that.
we about to close?
Just about. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I
Yes.
wanted to talk briefly about my book. I
I
don't know
see.
where the camera is.
This one is right here. Yours
Okay.
is right here.
All right, but this is a book. Like I said, my father brought this Catholic Bible, and as I grew up Christian, and I noticed that this Catholic Bible has 13 more books in it than the by King James. And one of the books was the Book of Wisdom, 16 chapters. And wisdom says she was with God when he created the heavens and the earth. And my question is, why not being taught that? I went to Sunday school and church everywhere. Nobody ever talked about her. So my journey started, and over time I realized that in Judaism she's called Sophia. The Catholics have her, and so I started searching for her. Ifa. The one who brought wisdom to the world.
I said.
Morimi, the one who who saved her people from destruction, and she gave her son as a sacrifice, but he's supposed to come back. So if they waiting on Muhammad, Miriam's son Muhammad, or Maya's son Buddha, or Mary's son Jesus, and we waiting on Morimi's son Allah.
Come on now.
That Iwa character. There's so many female deities in Ifa other than Oshun.
Absolutely.
Then Oshun, Oya, and Yemanja are important, but there's so many others. So this book is talking a prediction that there will be a superwoman in the 21st century. She'll be black and beautiful, is what the Bible says. And my question throughout my life, who is this woman? I don't know who it ain't me, because I'm 75, so I know it's not me. But who is this woman? It might be you, it might be somebody in this room, but I want people to, this is available on Amazon.com and Walmart. And
we'll make sure to,
and but just read it and see if you can identify who this woman is. My first thought was it was Gladys Knight, Midnight Train to Georgia, because I was 8 years old. She had just won the talent contest in high school and got a record deal. Over the years, I've looked at people, Shirley Chisholm, the first Black Miss America, but I think she's coming from Ishesha, Ifa, is some Black person. And Atlanta is the Mecca for Black people. I think I might know her. I think y'all might know her. Please check for her.
Okay.
I would definitely read the book. Yeah, thank you.
It could be one of you.
It could be. I don't know who it is, but she here.
Thank you. I say. So the way we end at Voices of IWA, first of all, before even that, thank you all.
No.
Like, I am honored anytime when I call people and I'm like, do you have an hour on a Saturday? Do you have, and people are like, yes, absolutely. I'm like, really? Not even on some, like playing small, but just, the fact that this podcast has impacted people, the fact that we have, daughters that are looking and our elders that are looking and people in between, just tells me that we're really on the right track. So thank you all as elders in my life for agreeing to be here. And I want to personally invite both of you to Real Women Inspire on March 29th. I don't think I haven't had a conversation with you about it, so I will make sure I do that as well.
I gotta be there, yes.
All right.
But the way we close out is to pray, to pray for the people. So I would love you all to pray for our elders. Please, can you pray for them and the spirit of Iya Agba and what she brings to our community?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giving praise to Olodumare, Bobo Orisha, all of our ancestors. We give thanks for this community in Atlanta, in the Bible Belt. We give thanks for all of those who have come before us, as well as those who are leading us at this time. We pray that all good things will come to this community, to each person, that we continue to support each other, to love each other, to be family with each other, and hold one another close in turbulent times. And women and men come together like the Edon, and with the chain that we work together to make things happen. And we give thanks. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Iya. Thank you all for joining us today for another episode of Voices of IWA. We will be here every Wednesday. Look for a new episode. Please go to Real Women's Summit, iwarealwomensummit.com, to learn more about the Real Women Inspire Summit that is coming up on Saturday, March 29th. I talked about an opportunity for us to get together, to convene together, to come together, to connect with one another in person, and that's exactly what this is. So we hope to see you there. Thank you for joining us this evening. Odabo.
Epa, Orisha. Epa.